This is going to be a very important season for Kylian Mbappé. And I don't even think it's just gonna be an important season. No, I think this could be a make or break season for him. And I'm saying this because he just came off getting the number 10 jersey. A very iconic number. Now listen, I think it's a good decision to let him have the number. I would have chosen Arda Güler. I would have chosen him because he loves and breathes that number. He is a classic 10. He's gonna be the focal point of Xabi Alonso's system. It would have made a lot of sense to have a player like Arda Güler take up that number. But I'm also not upset that Mbappé took it because this guy also loves and breathes Madrid. Now, yes, he does have a bad history of rejecting Real Madrid, but remember, he grew up as a Madridista. You saw that pictures of him when he was a child, that picture of him and Cristiano. He has always been a Madridista. So who better to get this number than him? Honestly, so I don't have a problem with it. And with that being said, let's talk about why this season is so important for him. So it's important because we came off a shaky Club World Cup performance. Very shaky. Now listen, he was sick for majority of the Club World Cup. But in the games that I did see him feature, I did see one good thing, but the rest, to be honest, I don't know if I am truly impressed. So his first match was against Juventus. He came off the bench, and honestly, he didn't do much. I think he had about 3 plays on the ball or 4, and I think that was it. He didn't really have much shots on target, and overall, I think that match was just a warm-up for him. And then we go on to the next match, in which he also came up from the bench. And he actually scored. He scored, and it was not just any type of goal. It was a beauty. An absolute beauty. The cross came from Arda Güler. And Arda Güler was man of the match. But either way, we're not going to now glaze Arda Güler. Mbappé tucks it away in brilliant fashion. And he scores. So at this point, we are all thinking, okay, Mbappé is back. He's back. He's going to start to cook again. He's going to start to perform again. And then the next match, he actually starts. He starts against PSG's former club. This has to be one of Mbappe's worst performances in a very, very long time. Because we make countless videos talking about how him and Verney were impressing. And I mean, Verney at least tried to press. Mbappé, when he presses, it looks like it hurts him. He looks like he's struggling to press. Like he has no heart and no determination. Look across the pitch, you see Dembele, and you're thinking, why can't Mbappé be like that? And it's because of heart. Is he willing to go the extra mile for the team to win? And in that match, sadly, he did not showcase it. He didn't press. He was standing around watching the ball, even losing the ball so many times. It was frustrating to watch, and I'm a Kylian Mbappé fan. I love Kylian Mbappé, one of the greatest football players in history. I would say he's top 30 in football history. And I think with him getting the 10 jersey, he is the face of Real Madrid. It's no longer gonna be Vini Jr. nor Jude Bellingham, because about 2 years ago, people were saying they're gonna be the franchise players. But you see how quickly it has turned around. You see Rodrigo, he's already being pushed out and he's set to leave the club. And that is because Mbappé is taking up his spot. And I fear that the same thing can happen to Vini. And we're seeing contract talks going all around the place. Sometimes it stalls, sometimes it's making progress. And I think this is just the beginning of Vini Jr. possibly taking the step to leave the club. But overall, the reason why I think this can be a make or break season for him is we saw some bad things at the Club World Cup. And if it continues, then I can see him going on the bench because let's be honest, he plays under a coach like Xabi Alonso. You're hearing reports that Xabi Alonso has full control over the squad. And if that is the case, if Mbappé doesn't work on some defensive work rate, then I can see this party of him getting the number 10 can actually crumble. Because if he doesn't improve, then I think Xabi's gonna bench him. But you know, I'm not just here to talk bad about Mbappé, because I do think he is one of the most productive players. And what I mean by that is you saw him score 44 goals. 44 goals for Real Madrid. And it was impressive numbers considering he was poor for the first half of the season. And you know, there was many times he would perform, but the team would lose, and that's because the defense is poor. But I would argue, he must also put in the effort when it comes to defense, when it comes to pressing. Now, I'm not saying he must become a centre back. I'm just saying when he's in the front, when he is in a defensive position, in the striker position, and he sees the defenders of the opposition passing the ball around, He has to press and he has to work to win the ball back. But I think this can actually be Kylian Mbappe's Ballon d'Or season. It could be, but we also need to take into account the World Cup is gonna happen after the 2025/26 season. We all know how that one competition can change the entire trajectory of the Ballon d'Or. I mean, we saw Haaland. He scored about 59 goals that season when the World Cup was going down, and Messi scored like 4 penalties. And then Ballon d'Or decided, you know what, Messi should win it. So I won't put that pressure to say, oh, Mbappé has to win the Ballon d'Or this season, because I don't think it's likely. He can win a treble, score 100 goals. He can do all of that. But whoever the World Cup winner is gonna be, I think the player in that team, if they have the PR, let's just say it's Yamal, he can drop a stinker for the entire 2025/26. If Spain wins the World Cup, and Yamal at least scored 6 goals, or at least 6 assists, then he's gonna win the Ballon d'Or. But the key to Kylian Mbappé performing, the key to him performing is the team. The team has to play as a unit. There needs to be unity in the team, and the passing football needs to improve. The pressing has to improve. Everyone in the team has to improve. But either way, Mbappé, I think he's gonna cook. He will cook, he has to cook. But now since he got the number 10, it makes me think, who's gonna take the number 9? Who's it gonna be, because this is a striker number worn by Di Stefano. This is an important number, and we don't have a true candidate for this number. There is 2 inexperienced players. It's Hendrik and it's Garcia. Now the thing is, if it's my choice, I'm gonna go with recency bias and I'm gonna say Gonzalo Garcia should take the number. But I'm thinking about the investment that Madrid made on Hendrik, and I would look at it from that point of view, and I will say Madrid might give the number 9 to Hendrik. But now we're done talking about Mbappe, let's talk about some other players such as Huijsen. So even though it's holiday for the Real Madrid players, holiday for practically a lot of players in football, you seen players like Huijsen is training with the Castilla. Like, he can be taking this holiday, he can relax, but the guys instead still training. And I think this is a good thing. It's a good sign that this player has the Madrid spirit. What a signing. Another thing we have to talk about is the situation at the right back, which is Trent against Danny Carvalho. Now the thing is, if Carvalho comes to his best form, it could be bad for Trent, because Carvalho can defend, he can attack, he's a decent passer, and I think with this happening, it could actually lead to something good. Because Trent is versatile, he's not just good at right wing back, he can be played even in the midfield. So we could even see a reality where Carvalho is at the right wing back and Trent is in midfield. Or we can even see Carvalho at the right centre back and Trent at the right wing back. And you know, I've been noticing Real Madrid have been making a lot of silent departures. Silent departures such as the Castilla departures. You're seeing Chema, he is now by Stuttgart. You're seeing Victor Munoz, he went to Osasuna. You see Josef Enriquez, he went to Alaves. And it's just like they're making so much departures to Castilla players, and these are talents. These are good talents, and I think you will see many of them maybe come back in the future, or maybe make names for themselves in the future. Like Jacobo Ramon, he went to Como. I can see with these buyback clauses, these players could be useful. If you disagree, look at Nico Paz. There have also been rumors about Saliba and Konate both joining Real Madrid possibly. And I have this weird feeling that none of them end up joining Madrid. I can see Saliba maybe signing a contract extension with Arsenal. Konate, I don't know. Maybe signs a new contract with Liverpool, we don't know. But between the two, I can see Konate joining Real Madrid. But that's my thoughts. Tell me your thoughts there in the comment section. Are you happy that Mbappé got the number 10? Or are you upset by it? Tell me there in the comment section. But if you enjoyed, smash like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Peace.